What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here for another great Nitro to review, the Monday Night Wars. This is week 57, November the 18th, 1996, the 62nd episode of Nitro, but the 57th week they go head-to-head with Raw. Nitro beats Raw for the 21st week in a row. The score was 3.2 to 2.4. So through 57 weeks, Nitro has 38 wins. Raw has 17 wins and 2 draws. So Nitro has a 38-17-2 record against Monday Night Raw. This is the Nitro with the 3.7 rating, November 18th, 1996. As mentioned, for the first hour of Nitro, it's the living legend Larry Zbyszko doing color with Tony Schiavone doing play-by-play. Only Schiavone will leave, and I'll get to that, early on, and Mike Tenay joins Larry Zbyszko for the first hour. Then Heenan joins the team for the second hour. Bischoff does some commentary, but then he gets on the mic at the end, so that's just a little bit of a cliffhanger and a preview, a prelude, so to speak. The show begins with the commentary talking about the nWo, talking about them taking over, and all of a sudden, Kevin Nash says, with two teams laid on the canvas, Hall says everyone, the Ming and the Barbarian, they just open the show with complete chaos. Ming and the Barbarian are called out by the Outsiders, who have laid out 2 other teams. That's how we open the show. The commentators barely even got a chance to speak. The Outsiders bullied them and said, if the Faces of Fear are here, we need them. So no intro music, no intro from the commentary team, just complete chaos in the ring as 2 teams, High Voltage and the Nasty Boys, are just run over by the Outsiders, and they are calling for the Faces of Fear. Schiavone says Nitro's back on the air. They were there with the dark match, and the Outsiders came in with chairs, knocked everyone out. Tony Schiavone then said, I don't need this. I got kids, I got a wife, and I'm out of here. And Zbyszko said, well, there's a time to be professional, and there's a time to not be. And Tony Schiavone didn't want to be professional and left. What I think happened is, in real life, I think they wanted to see how Zbyszko did with Tenay on the commentary, because Bischoff's not going to be a commentator regularly from this point on. Is my opinion. That's what I think. That's sort of like McMahon wanting Kevin Kelly to do the commentary for a few weeks while he was out, to see if somebody can hold the load. That's just my opinion, though. I could be off. I could be. Before Schiavone left the commentary table, he told Zbyszko, why don't you stick up for me? You're a former wrestler, with the Outsiders doing all this, because they tried to get Schiavone's microphone and everything, and they pushed him around, and Zbyszko said, I'm not Clint Eastwood. You know, I mean, I can't stand up for everyone. La Parka, making his Nitro debut, took on Juventud Guerrera. Side Russian leg sweep and a tilt-whirl backbreaker by Juventud. He chopped into a slingshot Hurricane Rana. La Parka with a suicide dive. All these guys are just flying to the ring, through the ring, over the top rope, to the floor. Bat flips, sentons, moonsaults, powerbomb and a near fall, surfboard variation, an upside down surfboard with a lateral press. Hoovy off the top with a missile drop kick and a near fall. La Parka back into a reverse chin lock. Hoovy with a Hurricane Rana to La Parka as he springboards from one rope to the top corner. Zbyszko keeps calling Juventud Guerrero, but I guess it's with Chavo Guerrero, Hector Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, and Juventud Guerrera, it must be a little hard. I mean, these are all new stars to Zbyszko, so La Parka wins at 9:22. It was a great match, rated at 3 stars. He wins with a corkscrew 450 modified splash. Ultimate Dragon is the J-Crown champion, with Sonny Ono defending it against Malenko's Cruiserweight title. So 2 titles are on the line here, the J-Crown title and the Cruiserweight title. I, for one, love the chemistry between Ultimate Dragon and Malenko. They had a classic at Starrcade 96, which doesn't get talked about for some reason. Maybe because Rey Mysterio fought Jushin Liger, and that was also great on that night. But I thought the Malenko Ultimate Dragon match at Starrcade 96 was better, but that's just me. That's yet to come, though. We're only 2 months before that. Ultimate Dragon gets caught in the Texas Cloverleaf at 4:02. This is about as good as a 4-minute match as you can get. I rated it at 2.5 stars. Not about as good as you can get, but good as a TV match as you can get. You could probably put a better match on pay-per-view for 4 minutes, but on TV, you can't really ask for more, but I can't give it more than 2.5 stars just because it was only 4 minutes, and these guys are capable of excellent things. When I rate matches, I rate them based on what people are capable of, too. So if this was like if this was just two guys like Jim Powers and Renegade putting on a 4-minute match and they could deliver this quality, I'd give it 3 stars. But I'm just explaining how I rate the matches. So I give it 2.5 stars to these two because they're capable of more. And they delivered for a TV match that went 4 minutes. The Amazing French Canadians took on the American Males. Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Scotty Riggs double teamed the French Canadians. This was a rugged match. A lot of double teaming by the Rougeaus. Bagwell gets the hot tag, drops both Ouellette and Rougeau when he comes into the ring. Right wheel kicks, a lot of blows. In the end, the Canadians win at 5:25 after a pretty standard tag match. Sloppy at times too. I rated it 1.5 stars. Luger faces Hugh Morris. As long as it keeps happening, I'll keep talking about it. Luger just keeps getting matches on Nitro where he can rack an opponent and win. That's all Luger gets. He racked Hugh Morris and won. After the match is where something interesting happened. I rated the match 1 star. Luger cuts a promo, but Sting comes into the ring to a huge ovation with his coat, his white face paint. He doesn't have the official Crow makeup yet, but he's still got his white face paint and his black jacket, and he has a baseball bat for the first time. It's a red baseball bat, and he points it to Luger's chest, and he goes like this with the baseball bat, and then he gives the bat to Luger after, and then leaves the ring. And Luger's just standing there with the bat like, what the hell do I do with this? Me and Gene tried to get a word, but Luger says, not right now, and he leaves the ring. Hollywood Hogan comes to the ring with Vincent DiBiase and Liz. He actually goes to the commentary table, and he gets Bischoff to say that he's a bigger icon, he's richer, and he's the better man than Piper. And we see later why Bischoff did it with such ease. DDP comes to be interviewed by Gene, and he says if he would be the 8th man of the NWO, and he said hell no, pretty much. Nash and Hall came beside him and said, we got a big surprise for you tonight. So pretty much a big surprise. He quotes 2001 A Space Odyssey and says there's something beautiful will happen tonight, is exactly what he said. DDP says I'm alone, and I'm standing alone, and that's a self high five. So he's not joining that. Next up, Jeff Jarrett goes 5-0 on Nitro as he beats Bobby Eaton with a figure 4, and in comes a returning Ric Flair who goes woo and talks about styling and profiling. Big Bubba Rogers took on Jim Powers. He defeats him at 3:54. I rated that 1 star, just like I rated the Jeff Jarrett match 1 star before that if I forgot to rate that match. Both matches 1 star. Trailer does his below the rope sliding uppercut punch. Then Benoit with women took on Eddie Guerrero. This is a pretty good TV classic here. Benoit over the top, a tilt whirl, backbreaker, and a leapfrog. Benoit stomps on Eddie in the ring and his left arm. Back up front, they hold the damage. Eddie Guerrero down, then torques the arm. Benoit stayed on Eddie's bad arm and shoulder the whole match with abdominal stretches, armbar submissions, modified armbar submissions, all of his offense implemented to attack Eddie's bad arm. Eddie with an inside cradle out of nowhere and a side suplex. Hurricane Rana then rolled up Benoit. Benoit then gets another Hurricane Rana towards him, but Benoit reverses the bridge after the Hurricane Rana and scores the 3 count. I rated it at 3 stars and 3/4. It's one of the better Benoit Eddie Nitro matches from November 18th, 96. After the match, Bischoff comes to the ring apologizing for Hogan earlier and saying he's going to get Piper to try and sign. But then Piper comes to the ring, but Bischoff is slightly scared for some reason. Piper asks Bischoff, "Is it my road? Is my road to my house curvy or long?" Because he knows Bischoff didn't actually come. That's the surprise. That's the shock. Bischoff never tried to get Piper because he's with the NWO, and Piper says this guy's two-time facing everyone, and the NWO will hold Piper. And Hollywood Hogan comes to the ring and says, "Now that everyone knows who everyone's working for. I mean, my God, this guy was the foundation of the WCW, but now he works for the NWO," as Bischoff laughs like a villain. The show ends with Piper and security guard trying to break up Piper and the NWO. Piper says, "You want to fight? You got it. I'll sign the contract. November 24th. No surrender." So Piper said he'd sign the contract. I rated this Nitro an 8 out of 10 quality rise because it had the Sting with the bat. It had the great matches with La Parka, the great Ultimo Dragon D. Malenko match, Eddie Benoit, plus Bischoff turning heel and joining the NWO. There's so much to like going forward with Bischoff as a heel in the NWO that this episode of Nitro easily deserves an 8 out of 10. That's it. I'm Brett Mix. We'll see you on the next Nitro review. 8 out of 10 for this one. So many events occurring. It's only going to get better from here on out, so keep tuning in. I'll keep making them. This is WCW Nitro. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.